Welcome to today's Explainer. If you're keeping tabs on government job opportunities, you already know that administrative notices can change in the blink of an eye. And honestly, staying on top of them, that's the literal difference between landing a position and missing out entirely. So today we're unpacking a really urgent administrative update coming straight out of the Manipur Legislative Assembly Secretariat. We're going to break down exactly what changed, who it affects, and the exact steps you need to take right now to make sure your application is totally locked in.
Okay, let's dive right into this. For a lot of you tracking this recruitment drive, there might have been a moment of, absolute panic, right? The initial process required physical application forms, and if you weren't able to get your hands on one, you probably thought you were just totally locked out of the whole process. You thought the door was shut, but guess what? The bureaucratic machinery actually pivoted to accommodate you. It's a huge deal.
Now, as always, we're going straight to the source. Take a look at this. This is the official notification issued from MFAL on June 6, 2026, and it's signed off by the Additional Secretary of the Manipur Legislative Assembly, G. Tapankumar Sharma. What you're looking at here is a formal legal modification of a previous notice that went out just one day prior, on June 5th. Think about that. A 24-hour turnaround is almost unheard of in government bureaucracy. It really shows a super urgent administrative course correction to a live situation.
So, let's talk about the available positions and the stakes involved.
Before we get into the how of applying, we've got to establish the what. What's actually on the line for you right now? Well, the notification outlines a direct recruitment drive for some really vital roles within the Secretariat. We're talking about positions for driver, Molly, sweeper, and multitasking staff, or MTS. These are absolutely essential roles that keep the daily gears of the Legislative Assembly turning. If you're a job seeker gunning for one of these spots, the stakes are incredibly high, which is exactly why getting a grip on this new notification is absolutely crucial for your career prospects. The absolute core of this update is captured perfectly in this excerpt right from the text. It says, in partial modification of this Secretariat notification, intending candidates who could not physically collect the application forms may still apply online. This is the government explicitly recognizing a major roadblock in their original process, and they're actively changing the rules for you. They're literally creating a brand new avenue for entry that did not exist in the original June 5th mandate.
Pretty amazing, right?
And this brilliantly illustrates a real fork in the road. There are now two distinct paths to apply.
Basically, the updated notification splits the applicant pool right down the middle. Depending on your current situation, you're facing a fork in the road with two totally different scenarios. Over on the left side, we've got candidates without physical forms, the folks who couldn't secure the paperwork. Then on the right side, we have candidates with duly filled up physical forms, the ones who already cleared that first hurdle. The government has laid out completely different instructions for these two groups, so you need to figure out instantly which path applies to you. First up, let's look at the online application path. For those of you who couldn't get your hands on a physical form, here is your lifeline. You're going to use the official web portal, assembly.mn.gov.in. Take a screenshot, write it down, whatever you need to do, but please take note of that exact URL. Seriously, do not rely on third-party aggregators or random links floating around. Type this exact address into your browser. This specific website is the only authorized digital gateway explicitly mentioned in the June 6 document for your application to be considered valid.
Now, what about the physical submission path?
If you're in that second group, meaning you actually managed to grab the physical paperwork and you're holding it right now, your path is still analog, but the instructions are super specific. The document states you have to physically submit your forms at the banquet hall of the Assembly Secretariat. And pay attention to the exact wording here. The forms must be duly filled up. Please, don't show up with half-empty paperwork hoping to finish it in the lobby. Your forms need to be 100% complete and ready to process the second you walk into that banquet hall.
All right, so the crucial point is the deadlines. Here are the crucial deadlines to remember.
Listen, none of this matters if you miss the window. The Secretariat has laid down a super rigid schedule, and there is zero margin for error. This timeline is probably the most important takeaway of this entire explainer. So let's break down the mechanics. If you're applying online, your portal opens at the midnight that kicks off June 8, 2026, and closes exactly at midnight to end June 10th. It's kind of like a bureaucratic Cinderella situation. But if you're submitting physically at the banquet hall, your window is strictly during office hours starting June 8th and ending June 10th. You cannot show up at the banquet hall at midnight. You have to clearly distinguish between the 24-hour clock of the online server and the normal human office hours of the physical secretariat.
Count them. You have exactly 3 days, June 8th, 9th, and 10th. That is an incredibly tight time frame. The government is moving really fast on this, and as an applicant, they fully expect you to operate with that exact same level of urgency. Just to make sure we are absolutely crystal clear, let's reiterate the final cutoff. The ultimate deadline to act, whether you're hitting submit on the web portal or handing over a piece of paper at the banquet hall, is June 10th, 2026. Period. There's not a single word in additional Secretary Sharma's notification that even hints at extensions or exceptions. Once the physical office closes and that digital clock strikes midnight on the 10th, the opportunity is just gone.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I kind of want to leave you with a broader thought. We literally just watched a government entity pivot over a 24-hour period to build a brand new digital pathway for candidates who couldn't access physical forms. So what does this all mean? Does this sudden shift toward digital access in government recruitment permanently change the landscape of bureaucratic accessibility? Like, is this just a one-time emergency measure, or are we witnessing the real-time